Title: Entitles Pool Parents. Okay, so I work as a lifeguard at a fairly large water park. I'm not going to say where for privacy reasons, but it's a great place to have fun at when you are not on the clock guarding. They place some of the guards on the pool and they place other guards working that day on slides. Today I was in slides. The story starts at the top of a slide called Silver Mullet. That's obviously not the act name, but it rhymes with it, so that's the one we are using. Goes to the bottom and ends at the pool office. At the top I had pushed this child down the slide because we are supposed to do that if they won't go, because there is a rule preventing people from going back down the ladder. The pushing rule was created for the guest safety. The slide is in the shallow end of the pool and the height is probably like maybe 50 feet up. The water is so shallow that if the child falls, they could get injured or worse. The ladder is also meant to be more of a one-way trip because it has a very steep slope, and if a child falls while climbing down, an injury may occur. So we give them a little push down, in a safe manner, to help them down. I never pushed hard, I would never push hard, but sometimes a child may need a little help to get going down. And a lot of parents actually have more of a humorous reaction and laugh. This was the only one of probably 100 parents that had a problem with it. I'm not saying I was completely right, maybe I could have been more patient, but I personally feel as if she overreacted to the situation. Then when we rotate I go down to the bottom and do that stint of my rotation. About 10 minutes after we rotated, a woman in a black two-piece bathing suit comes up to me, let's call her Karen, and says, "Are you the one that was just up there?" I answer, "Yes," because I had nothing to hide. Karen then says, "I'm going to ask you something and be truthful because I have a video of it. I live in a two-party consent state and I never consented to being recorded. This will be important later." She asked if I pushed her 7-year-old down the slide. I said, yes, and she said that she would be pressing charges, and I don't know what makes you putting your heads on a minor is okay. I then explained to Karen our rule and that we are told to push if they won't go down, and she replied with, "That's so fed up." Then I said that she can take it up with my supervisor, and pointed to the pool office. She went off in the way of her husband and said he admitted to it, among other things I didn't hear as clearly. Then I ask to be rotated out and I tell the supervisor what happened and go back to my work. Then when I rotate for my break they pull me into the office and ask me to write up a report of what happened. They sided with me and said that they have my back against her. And the park manager and director operations spoke with me and they changed the rule to say that we can't push anymore and to call a supervisor over to help the kid down. Then they said that I can go home and take the rest of the day and tomorrow off with full pay because they say how scared I was. I come back in Sunday morning and they agreed to not let me work Silver Mullet again because of all the bad experiences I have had there. So long story short, I ended up getting some great time off to focus on what I like to do and still get paid because a woman got butt hurt over the fact that her child got some help down the slide. This is my first post like this, so I'm sorry if it was a lot. Title: How does one get a phone number for someone without asking them for it? Somehow, some ungodly way. My father had the audacity to find my boyfriend's phone number. Title: Entitled Parents Won't Let Me Ask for Peace and Quiet. My mom and stepdad were fighting. After 10 minutes it started to sound violent. My mom was butthurt about something and then my stepdad starts going off about why he can't joke around the way he wants to. I hear slapping and hitting. I raised my voice and said, "PLZ, be quiet, I'm trying to sleep." I was genuinely trying to go to sleep and wanted them to just fucking stop acting so childish. BC, it sounded like they were just slapping each other and getting petty, so slapping each other some more. And then my stepdad slams the door and starts fighting with my mom, saying that I'm so disrespectful and why should he be quiet when all I do is nothing all day. But I'm taking more units than a full-time student, working my butt off every day so I can transfer and run away from this horrid family. My stepdad hits some more stuff and finally leaves. Then my mom comes in and says, "You sleeping right now is so important?" So I reply, "Is it such a crime to ask you guys to be quiet since I'm trying to go to sleep?" And she says, "Then what?" We have to match up to you? We have to do things for you? To which I say, I can't even ask you guys to be quiet so I can sleep. And she says, no you can't. Title: Neighbors accused me because their dog got taken away. Hello guys. I was reading through this sub which made this weird story resurface in my memories, so I think it maybe belongs here. It happened several years ago and I obviously don't remember every little detail, but I do remember it pretty vividly. Sorry for any grammar or spelling mistakes, since English is not my first language. Trigger warning: animal abuse. When the incident happened I was about 8 or 9 years old. I lived together with my mom, my brother and my father's parents, in a nice neighborhood which I still think of fondly. Except this family. Right next to our house a Russian family moved in and my brother and I kept playing with the 2 younger children. The youngest was a horrible kid, he was pretty rude and cruel to animals, which I got to know later. Still we played with him since we didn't know that. Then they got a dog. She was so lovely, a cute brown Labrador pup with the biggest eyes and paws way too big for her little legs. I loved her. The thing is, our neighbors had kind of a twisted relationship with this dog. They never let the young dog in their house. You know, I would have understood if she was some sort of protection dog, but she was just a few months old. She had to stay in a little shed up on the hill of my neighbor's garden, where she was tied up. Especially in the night. The poor girl kept whining and barking because she was scared, alone, and it was so cold. I only noticed this because I couldn't sleep. I started calling the dog to soothe her so she shuts up and I could sleep. Seriously, I don't know why. My brother just told me I did this. It went on for quite a while, but on one afternoon I couldn't believe my eyes when I looked out of the window. To explain, I could see her shed and the hill of my neighbor's clearing through my window. The little brat walked up to the pup. She was so excited because she had been alone for such a long time, and then he started hitting her with a large stick. I don't know if his parents knew. The dad was a chilled and nice guy, but the mom was a piece of shit. I didn't know what to do, but that night I kept thinking of her, and when she started barking again I felt so helpless. I think one of the neighbors saw that, and in the middle of the night they called animal protection and the police. They investigated the case, found out the dog was abused, and were very quick in taking her away. After that, a few days later, the neighbors started accusing me of their precious girl taken away and that her son would have never done that. They probably said more but can't remember what exactly. I am 18 now, it has been 10 years. What I remember is that I was so stunned at these accusations, and they kept giving me the fault that their dog got taken away because of their abuse even years later. A few years later they got a new dog, a small rat that could sleep in their house. Maybe they learned. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. Anyways. That was a long story. It was not so entertaining, but I think it still belongs here.